Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really cutting straight to the chase with just a powerful idea. Getting started.
Yeah, just taking that first step.
Exactly. We've been digging through Noah Kagan's experiences, particularly the wisdom packed into his book, $1 Million Weekend. And our mission for this deep dive, it's really to grasp why taking action, just doing something, often beats endless planning or overthinking.
Right, and how that can help you, the listener, get moving without feeling totally swamped by information overload.
Yeah, avoid that analysis paralysis.
That's a crucial point, isn't it? We're looking at this core idea that real progress, it often starts not with some perfect plan, but just by, well, starting.
And Noah Kagan's story is such a great example of that in action.
It really is a very compelling one.
Okay, so let's jump into Noah's early days. He was employee number 30 at Facebook. Think about that.
Wow, yeah, super early.
And those stock options he had, they could have been worth around $1 billion back in 2022.
$1 billion. That's, I mean, that just highlights the huge potential, right? And the stakes involved when things went sideways.
Totally. He was right there at the beginning of something massive. But then, yeah, the turning point, just 9 months in, he got fired.
Ouch. Why? What happened?
Well, apparently it was down to self-promotion and also leaking some company plans. There was this incident at Coachella with a tech journalist.
Oh, right. I remember hearing about that. He talked about expanding beyond colleges.
Yeah, exactly. And Matt Kohler, big name from Facebook, LinkedIn, he apparently called Kagan a liability.
Whoa. That's a heavy label, especially early in your career.
It really is. And Kagan herself talks about the deep shame and embarrassment he felt.
Yeah, you can imagine. But look, this is key for listeners, right? Even a massive setback like that, it doesn't have to be the end. It can actually be fuel.
Yeah, it wasn't a full stop, more like a comma, as you said. That period of reflection seems really critical to everything that came after.
Absolutely critical. It shaped his whole philosophy.
So he spent, about 8 months really thinking, analyzing what went wrong. And here's the thing, instead of just, crawling under a rock, he had this realization. He needed to figure out entrepreneurship his own way.
And crucially.
And share what he learned. It's like hitting rock bottom sometimes forces you onto a path that's actually more authentic for you. Does that track with what you see?
Oh, frequently.
Yeah.
Setbacks force you to reevaluate, often leading to journeys that are more genuine and ultimately more successful. And what's fascinating with Kagan is how quickly he shifted gears into just experimenting. Sean Puri has that great quote, right? Show me an experimenter and over the long run, I'll show you a future winner.
That perfectly captures Kagan's next phase, doesn't it?
Totally.
Because the experiment he did, after Facebook, he just jumped into this wild array of ventures.
Yeah, what was on the list?
Okay, get this, an online sports betting site, and he wasn't even a sports fan. Then backpacking through South America, Southeast Asia, teaching online marketing in Korea, consulting for startups.
Okay, quite the mix.
Even organizing dodgeball tournaments. It almost sounds kind of random, like he was just throwing spaghetti at the wall.
It might sound that way on the surface, yeah. But if you connect the dots, you see a pattern emerging.
Okay.
The big takeaway here is, don't wait for the perfect idea to strike. Each of these seemingly random things taught him something valuable. They were building blocks.
So even the sports betting site, maybe it taught him about quick user feedback or something.
Exactly. Or teaching marketing in Korea maybe gave him insights into user engagement. Each experience offered a unique business lesson, even if it wasn't the final destination. Think of your interests now as potential experiments.
That makes sense. And the Mint.com story really drives this home.
Oh yeah, Mint. Great example.
He was just so excited about their product, right? And even though he had zero marketing experience, he just dove in, created a marketing plan. And listen to this, it got them 100,000 users before the site even launched.
Incredible. And then
1 million users within 6 months.
Wow. Just phenomenal results.
It's remarkable. And that proactive approach, just jumping in, it landed him a job offer. 1% of the company, good salary.
Right. And Mint, of course, was later bought by Intuit for, $170 million?
Yeah, a huge acquisition. So you'd think, cha-ching for Kagan. Right?
You would think.
Yeah.
But, there's always a but, isn't there?
There's the vesting issue. Basically, you earn those stock options over time. So even though Mint hit it big,
he didn't get the immediate $1.7 million payday from his 1% because he hadn't been there long enough for it all to vest.
Ouch. That's gonna sting. A real near miss.
Definitely a tough lesson in investing schedules.
But the real insight here isn't the money he missed out on, it's what else he was doing.
Ah, yes. Because while he was at Mint,
He was also building Kickflip, which then became Gambit.
right, the payment system for social games.
And that generated over $15 million in revenue in less than 2 years.
No, that's impressive. And it really highlights the contrast, doesn't it? The potential of the big company job versus the rapid success he achieved with his own thing simultaneously.
Exactly. Even with the Mint opportunity, his experimental spirit, that always starting thing, it didn't stop. He was applying it on the side.
Which reinforces his whole point about always staying alert to problems as opportunities, always starting experiments, and always asking for the sale. He was living it.
Which brings us nicely to this core concept of his, the N now W not how habit. Can you break that down for us?
Sure. At its heart, it's super simple. Prioritize immediate action over getting lost in planning.
Just do it, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Kagan noticed so many people dream about starting a business or a project, whatever it is.
Yeah, we all know someone like that. Or maybe are someone like that.
Right. But they get stuck. They get stuck trying to figure out how to do everything perfectly before they even start. Overthinking the details, the what ifs.
The logistics, yeah. And then they just never begin. It feels too big.
Precisely. That feeling of needing all the answers up front. Kagan says successful entrepreneurs just flip that. They act first, then they figure it out as they go.
Makes sense. You learn by doing.
Exactly. Analysis without action. He calls that speculation. Real understanding, real learning comes from the doing.
He has that great personal example too, right? With the ad agency for AppSumo.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. They pitched him on a Facebook ad campaign, and instead of saying, okay, email me the summary, we'll start next week.
Which is what most people would do.
Right. He insisted on acting right then. Okay, give me the passwords. Let's get the account access sorted. The works. Took maybe 5 minutes.
And the result?
Saved them a whole 24 hours of back and forth, waiting for emails. Just boom, action taken, momentum built.
That's such a clear, tangible benefit of that mindset. Just get it done now.
It really is. And it poses a good question for everyone listening. Where are you overthinking instead of acting?
Good question.
Kagan's challenge is basically adopt this now, not how idea. Break through the overthinking. Build some momentum. What's the tiniest possible step you could take on that thing you've been putting on today?
That's powerful. Okay, so once you do start taking action, how do you keep the momentum going, especially early on when things are maybe uncertain or tough? Kagan talks about this freedom number.
Yes, the freedom number. It's a really simple but effective early motivator.
So what is it exactly?
It's basically a target monthly income. Not necessarily millions, just enough to give you a sense of, well, freedom, independence.
Okay, what was his?
His initial freedom number was $3,000 a month.
$3,000. And what did that cover for him?
Enough for his housing, his food and travel things he enjoyed, and a bit left over for savings or investment.
Got it. So it wasn't about getting mega rich right away. It was about hitting a specific income level that let him live and work how he wanted.
Exactly. Enough freedom to work from anywhere, be with people he cared about, and crucially, not do tasks he didn't want to do just for a paycheck.
That sounds pretty appealing.
Right. And what's interesting is how much this resonated with other entrepreneurs he talked to. Many had a similar kind of early target figure in mind.
So it's a common thing, even if the number itself varies.
Very common. And it's effective because it's doable, it's concrete, and it creates urgency. It focuses you on the immediate actions needed to actually generate income.
Instead of this vague, maybe overwhelming goal of build a huge business, you have a clear financial target, like I need to make X dollars this month.
Precisely. It shifts your focus immediately to, okay, how do I get my first customer? How do I make that first dollar? Even reaching a tiny freedom number, just enough to cover, say, your coffee budget for the month, is a huge psychological win.
It proves the concept, right, that you can generate income from your idea.
Exactly. Kagan emphasizes you don't always need some grand, world-changing purpose to start. That can come later. But you do need commitment, and the freedom number helps provide that focus, keeps you from getting distracted. It simplifies the basic mechanics of business down to make enough money to be free.
That really crystallizes it. Okay, so as we start to wrap up this deep dive, what's the absolute key message people should take away from Kagan's experiences?
I think the big one is that successful people, they really prioritize just starting and experimenting over getting trapped in endless planning cycles.
They embrace the doing part.
Absolutely. They understand action is where the learning happens. Action builds momentum. You figure it out by moving forward, not by standing still trying to predict everything.
And the implication for everyone listening is, you probably already know enough. You probably already have the resources you need to take that first small step.
That's it, exactly. Stop waiting for permission or the perfect moment.
Right. So maybe a final thought for people to chew on.
Yeah, let's leave them with this.
Yeah.
Thinking about that nan, not how principle. What is the one single smallest action you can commit to taking right now, like today, towards one of your goals?
Just one small thing.
It's just one.
Yeah.
And maybe relate to that. Start thinking. What would your initial freedom number be, that first tangible financial milestone that would give you that first real taste of independence?
Something concrete to aim for. Great things to think about.